If you know me, then you know I love Judy. It's honestly my favorite horror game of all time, and for the past few weeks I've been replaying old chapters for a video I have coming up on the game. But as you may be able to guess, constantly playing the same game over and over again can get tiring. So in between sessions I browsed the horror section of Roblox to see if there's any new or just cool looking games, as I did with Judy. I tried playing Forspoken, but the game just didn't work and it didn't keep me interested. So I moved over to play a game called The Exit, and let's just say, this game has issues. A lot of issues. Most of the issues pertain to the story of the game. Often I felt I was playing through a story written by a child. There's grammar mistakes all over this game, and I can only assume that English isn't the creator's native language. I say this because when you go to do actions in the game, you're met with a Spanish translation of the action you're trying to execute. This isn't me making fun of the game's creator, it's just something I noticed while playing. Thank the stars I'm currently learning Spanish, because I can't be sure I would have known what Abrera meant when I saw it. It means open, by the way. And even despite all the language translation issues, this game's plot just doesn't make all that much sense. This game has a huge issue with logic and communicating new story details to the player. And it sucks because I think the game has a pretty nice concept so far. Essentially, you're being chased around by a demon who wants revenge on his killer. However, instead of chasing their actual killer, they attack his son, our friend David. But the issue with this is, they never give us a good reason for attacking his son instead of their actual killer. A simple "I want him to suffer the way I did" would have worked, but we never get that. There's also an instance where we walk into the school and call the cops, but all of a sudden our phone cuts out. The best I could assume at the time was the phone lines went out, but again, a simple "the phone lines must have went out" would have done a lot in this scene. So, where do we start with this rewrite? Well, for one, I think it would be great if we establish a reason for Mar, that's the demon's name, to be chasing David instead of his actual killer. I propose that maybe David's father has died years after the murder, and before dying, he had a son that looked a lot like him. Maybe this death can be an instance of karma. Another thing, let's toss out the idea of Mar killing David just because he's the killer's son. It's stupid and it wouldn't make all that much sense. It would make a lot more sense if our excuse for Mar killing David was he looks like his father. In those 5 words, I explained away the biggest question in this game's story. Why does Mar chase down David? Well, because he mistakes him for his father, who at this point in our story has already died years prior, leaving a reason for Terry. I have Terry written down here for the demon's name. It's really Mar, but leaving a reason for Mar to mistake David for his killer. I know I practically rewrote a huge chunk of this game's story already, and I've hopefully made the story make a lot more sense. But remember when I talked about the phone lines? Well, at the end of the chapter, there's a moment where our character finds David's dead body, and that's where the chapter ends. But remember how earlier we called the cop, and randomly it would seem our character hung up the phone, which we changed to the phone lines went out in our rewrite? Well, in the next chapter, we are in jail for murder, and this comes out of nowhere. My final change for this chapter would definitely be to foreshadow our arrest, maybe with a subtle piece of dialogue like freeze at the end of the chapter, accompanied by police sirens. It would definitely foreshadow the next chapter a lot better, and leave players on a cliffhanger to keep them playing. And another thing, fix the language issues. I understand that the creator may not be fluent in English, but maybe use a bit of Google Translate for the English players like myself and many others. But then again, this is a minor issue, so it's fine if it's not fixed. But the grammar mistakes, yeah, those gotta go. And that was my rewrite on The Exit Chapter 1, a pretty obscure Roblox horror game that I believe, like Judy, has a cool concept, but unlike Judy, needs a little more work to be something pretty good. And who knows, maybe the creator will see this video and take in some of these criticisms for a potential remake of the first chapter. I bet I sound really stupid right now. But anyways, with that being said, here's another video of mine I think you'd really enjoy. But other than that, I've been Just Quilted, and until next week, later.